What's up, Taiwan? I'm Reece with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Some DPP lawmakers are sounding the alarm over a group of Chinese athletes and students on a visit to Taiwan. They're worried about possible espionage, pointing to the fact that many on the trip are affiliated with China's Communist Party. But the organizers of the visit are dismissing the fears. Chris Gorin reports.
Media and fans of China's table tennis star Ma Long crowd the champion as he arrives at Taiwan's Taoyuan airport. He's the most famous member of the group of Chinese students and athletes arriving in Taiwan for a Cross-Strait exchange.
这是我给他写的一个小卡片，因为他其实现在可能不会太出现在赛场上了，然后他希望我们还是能对他说马龙再来一球。我本身也是大陆来的交换生嘛，然后所以我觉得就是由马龙带着大学生们一起过来，是一种很好的沟通的方式，让大家能够互相更了解彼此。
The exchange was organized by the foundation of former Taiwan President Ma Ying-jeou, who has made strong efforts to improve cross-strait relations. But many on this trip are affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party, raising concerns among some Taiwanese lawmakers. One legislator pointed to other examples of espionage involving sports exchanges.
上一次呢，我们台湾的总统这一个行程相关的泄露，就是因为他们举办相关的扯铃的运动交流，所以对他们来讲呢，所有的交流都是统战的一部分。
Those leading the exchange dismissed the concerns.
大陆有将近1亿人的这个中共的党员，那这是很平常嘛？你看我们到大陆去参访，也有民进党的，也有国民党的，也有民众党的，难道大陆也要觉得说你是什么党的就不能来吗？
Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council, which handles cross-strait relations, says despite the concerns, this exchange is by the book.
符合规定的情况下，我们还是乐见其成两岸的这个交流。目前可能还是没有太多有可能会有这样国家安全的一些疑虑。
Visits like these underscore the sensitivity of cross-strait exchanges in Taiwan, where many see a fine line between cultural diplomacy and national security. Eason Chen and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
China has all but denied a report that their defense minister Dong Jun is under investigation for corruption. The Financial Times had reported that Dong is caught up in a wider graft probe into the Chinese military, but it's unclear what allegations he faces. When asked about the report, this is how China's foreign ministry responded.
捕风捉影。 下一个问题。
Dong Jun has been defense minister since December 2023 after his predecessor was removed for corruption. Concerns over Vice President Bi Kim-hsiao's security are mounting after an incident during Taiwan's baseball victory celebration. As fans gathered to cheer the return of Taiwan's Premier 12 champions at Taoyuan Airport, staff of a duty-free shop pushed past security to take photos with Vice President Hsiao. Legislators are criticizing the lack of oversight and questioning the security protocols for high-ranking officials. Despite issuing an apology and pledging a donation to youth baseball, the duty-free company now faces a fine of $30,000 and growing calls for a boycott. Former Labour Ministry official Hsiao has been named the defendant in a criminal investigation into a workplace bullying case. Hsiao is set to be questioned for potential misconduct and negligence leading to death. She is alleged to have contributed to the suicide of a worker in her team. Hsiao has also been banned from leaving Taiwan for 8 months. She has pledged to fully cooperate with the investigation. Russia's foreign ministry is hitting back over reports that the US might station missiles in Japan, a plan meant to prepare for a potential Chinese invasion of Taiwan.
В этом, конечно, есть неприкрытое лицемерие, когда США и их сателлиты заявляют о приверженности принципу одного Китая и при этом продолжают цинично нагнетать обстановку в Тайваньском проливе, и в том числе препятствуют мирному объединению страны. А делают они это буквально на глазах у всего мирового сообщества.
Japanese media on Sunday reported that Washington and Tokyo are forming a joint military plan that could involve deploying missiles to Japanese and Philippine islands in the event of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan. Russia has been strengthening strategic ties with China in recent years. It also warns it would see such action as a threat and respond accordingly.
Мы неоднократно предупреждали японскую сторону, что если в результате такой кооперации и на ее территории окажутся американские ракеты средней дальности, то это будет представлять реальную угрозу безопасности нашей страны, и мы будем вынуждены предпринимать необходимые адекватные шаги по укреплению собственной обороноспособности.
Russia recently expanded its list of scenarios in which it would consider using nuclear weapons. With Donald Trump set to return to the White House next year, all eyes are on how he'll handle the war in Ukraine, which he has vowed to end within days of taking office. At least one Ukrainian MP believes he has the ability to do it. Alexander Merezhko, the head of the Foreign Affairs Committee in the Ukrainian parliament, has nominated Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. Ed Moon spoke to Merezhko to find out why.
Thank you for joining us today, Alexander. Can you tell us very simply, why have you decided to nominate President-elect Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize?
Well, for two reasons. Speaking objectively, he deserves to receive a Nobel Peace Prize for example, for the Abraham Accords, which he mediated very successfully. And the second reason, which is important for Ukraine, is that under his administration, Ukraine had started to receive military aid from the United States, including lethal weapons like javelins, which helped us right after the full-scale invasion. And also he was supportive of creating a coalition in support of Ukraine against Russian aggression.
You're a member of President Zelensky's ruling party, an influential member of the Foreign Affairs Committee in the Ukrainian parliament. Did you run this decision by President Zelensky before making the nomination? And has it caused any controversy in Ukraine?
Well, it's an interesting question because this idea occurred to me spontaneously 2 days ago. And I decided to act immediately. So it was my idea and my risk. For politicians, of course, any kind of ideas like that, original ideas, they might cause problems. But I didn't consult anyone. I mean that I didn't talk to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I didn't talk to the Office of the President. It was purely my own decision. And I bear all responsibility and all risk for this decision.
Obviously, as you say, there's a number of conflicts going on around the world right now. Let's start with the one nearest to your heart. President-elect Trump says he's going to bring an end to the war in Ukraine within days of him taking office. If Trump suggests that Ukraine cede territory in order to get a peace with Russia, would you agree with that?
Of course not. It's absolutely out of the question for Ukraine. That's why it's not only about Ukraine. It's not only about our territorial integrity. It's about the fate and future of the humankind and the world order. That's why it's so important. So, and I believe that Trump understands this. Of course, I cannot be 100% sure, but I believe, and I'm almost certain that he will never do it. He will never do it because it would be against interests of the United States.
President-elect Trump is about to start his second term. The outcome of many of these conflicts is not yet known. Is it fair to say that this is more of a wishful thinking nomination than one that's based on what he's actually achieved?
Well, it's hope, but it's not wishful thinking. You know, it has both sides. On the one hand, in this way, I wanted to express our gratitude for what was already done by Trump to support Ukraine. So it's a gesture of gratitude. And on the other hand, it's a gesture of hope. It's a gesture of hope for us because our fate depends on the United States. Our survival depends on the United States and, of course, depends on the President of the United States.
That was Ukrainian MP Alexander Merezhko speaking from Kyiv. The International Criminal Court is seeking an arrest warrant for Myanmar's military leader Min Aung Hlaing for crimes against the Rohingya people. The Myanmar military conducted what the UN has called a genocide against the Rohingya in 2017. Myanmar's government has denied the charges, saying it was only targeting Rohingya militants. A panel of ICC judges must now decide if a warrant should be issued. ICC prosecutors say they will seek warrants for other Myanmar officials later. Volkswagen will sell its operations in Xinjiang, China, after years of pressure to exit the region known for Chinese crackdowns on the local Uyghur population. The German carmaker will sell its plant to a Chinese state-owned group and extend its partnership with a Chinese company, SAIC Motor. Activists had accused Volkswagen of using forced Uyghur labor, which the company denies. The Xinjiang plant had also become a financial liability. It is designed to produce gasoline-powered vehicles, but China is quickly transitioning to electric. The first snowfall of the year in South Korea's capital Seoul has shattered records, leading to cancelled flights, traffic jams and power outages.
첫눈이 이렇게 많이 온 건 처음 봤습니다. 저도 깜짝 놀랐는데요. 아무래도 진짜 날씨를 예측할 수 없게 요즘 진행되고 있는 것 같아서 이상기후가 아닌가 이런 생각이 듭니다. 갑자기 날씨가 덥다가 얼마 전까지만 해도 반팔을 입었는데 갑자기 이렇게 추워지면서 이렇게 눈이 많이 오니까 좀 날씨가 정말 예측할 수 없게 흘러가는 게 아닌가 그런 생각이 듭니다.
The snowstorm grounded more than 200 flights and disrupted commuter traffic. Around 90 ferries have been ordered to remain in port. The country's weather agency says more than 16 centimetres of snow recorded on Wednesday marks the biggest November snowfall since records began over a century ago. It predicted snow will continue falling until Thursday. For some 5 years now, tourists from both China and Taiwan have faced travel restrictions, with the two sides imposing their own rules on who can and can't visit. And while both sides want the restrictions to end, neither is willing to make the first move. John Van Trieste explains.
There are signs of a thaw in the years-long tussle between China and Taiwan over tourism. China banned its citizens from leisure travel to Taiwan in 2 stages from 2019 to 2020, and that ban still stands. Taiwan hit back this year, banning its citizens from group tourism to China. But both sides show signs of wanting to break the ice. In late September, China announced a limited first step, letting residents of its coastal Fujian province visit a handful of nearby Taiwan-governed islands, Mazu and Jinmen. But there's still deadlock over the next step, and who should be the one to make it. China says it's up to Taiwan's ruling Democratic Progressive Party, or DPP.
只要民进党当局取消禁团令，我们将在恢复大陆居民赴马祖、金门旅游的基础上，研究进一步扩大大陆居民赴台旅游。
But officials in Taiwan say the overall balance of tourism is still in China's favor, and say it's up to China to end the impasse.
现在还是去得多，来得少。那相对起来，其实台湾对于观光旅游方面的限制，其实相对是相当少的。中国大陆那边对于观光方面用政治上面的干扰跟限制相当的多。那我们也希望他们可以赶快解禁，可以让他们观光客来台湾。台湾其实都相当的欢迎。
It's difficult to say whether this is a false start or a genuine sign of a breakthrough in the works. Hank Xu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Before we go, we take you to Lisbon to see Portugal's traditional tree lighting ceremony kicking off the holiday season. I'm Reece. Take care and see you next time.
For more stories from here in Honolulu, Hawaii, and around the world, make sure to visit us on social media.